Hi, and welcome back. I really appreciate you joining me again. And this is for you if you also enjoy what I most enjoy, which is being out in nature with a group of people for a couple of days, and above all, the deep, real, authentic, and heart-opening connection that happens. And I've gotten curious about how connection really works and how we can create connection in the fastest way. And everything I've found, I've put into the language of connection, which is a specific way of communicating and relating that creates connection in the fastest way possible. And when we feel connected, and when we feel safe, and when we feel that we can be ourselves, our nervous system and our subconscious starts showing us what has been unconscious in the past, so we can get aware of everything that was steering our lives from the background, from the shadows, which are these repetitive vicious circles that happen again and again. And we ask ourselves, why always me? Why is that always happening to me? And why is this repeating itself? And obviously, until we haven't learned a lesson, things keep repeating. And basically everything we are looking for in the outside world is a substitute for connection. We're trying to fill that inner void and are driven by fear, lack, scarcity, and insecurity to achieve something. And everything we do in the outside world is basically a substitute for connection. We want to get famous or rich or wealthy or powerful and be admired and appreciated. But actually, it never fills this inner void, and it's in a big hole that cannot be filled, that stays void, and we can put in so much as we want, and it doesn't change. The language of connection is an integral part of all my retreats, and I'm shooting this video actually to take you on a journey and to share some impressions of a retreat which I do every year in mid-July in France, the Four Lakes and the Sentier, the Roches retreat. And I will use this same intro for both videos, and you will recognize it by the title. And yes, I would like to take you on a journey, share some impressions, and maybe you are inspired and touched and moved. And I'm really looking forward to meeting you soon. If you'd like to make a different experience regarding connection and the way we communicate and relate, and feel free to have a look at my website and all the upcoming retreats. See you there. Bye-bye. Take care. I'm looking forward. I've just arrived at Lac Blanc, which means the White Lake. In France, Alsace, the Vosges Mountains, which probably in English is pronounced the Vosges Mountains, but I actually prefer the French version, the Vosges Mountains. And I have a retreat here every year in mid-July, where we stay on a beautiful camping site and where we do the Four Lakes tour and the Sentier de Roches, and we visit two medieval villages, which are Ricquevire and Kaisersberg. But before that, I would like to introduce you to the camping site, and then we continue up into the mountains. And I've actually added one more day to all my retreats, which is the first day, and we stay on the camping site with the whole group in order to get to know each other, to build connection and trust and create a safe space so that we can really work with each other on our limiting beliefs, unconscious patterns, and coping strategies and survival strategies, in order to live a fulfilling, happy life. So this is the starting point where we go up into the mountains, and let's go! And this is the first highlight for me, with a really rocky trail where we have to watch our steps. and the rocky trail goes on and on. And this is the second highlight, a water spring, but unfortunately it says that the water can be drunk. But I remember some participants who were very happy to refill their bottles. I've arrived at the second lake, which is Lac Noir, the Black Lake, and it's actually the least beautiful of them all. And let's have a closer look. And again, there is one of these really beautiful forest paths with a lot of rocks. And from what I see, the path seems to be blocked because of forest workers working here. But I'm going to take the path anyway, because there's no other possibility to get where I want to go. This is a spot where the landscape is going to change completely, and we're coming out into the open, and therefore it is better to protect my head. So we're almost there, and this is really a drastic change of setting and landscape, and very different space we're coming into here, with a lot of views on the mountains up there, and there it's also blocked here. So I'm going to walk this way. Okay, have a look at this. Have a look at this. Have a look at this. And actually, most of the paths are blocked, and we're going to walk this way in direction to Lac du Forlet. And there is actually a spring here where I would actually refill my bottle, but I've already got fresh spring water from the Maison Oberlin, which is a retreat center up here in the mountains, mostly used by the anthroposophic movement. This is a really heart-opening spot when we come out of the forest and are struck by the impressive view. We're almost there. We're almost there. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Be ready to be struck. And ta-da! That's it. And we've arrived at Lac du Forlet. This is the most beautiful lake of them all. And this is where we have the lunch break, a nap, and we used to have a swim here. But unfortunately, there's supposed to be some very dangerous bacteria here, so we cannot swim anymore. And this is Lac du Forlet. And have a look at this view. And have a look at the mirror image of the mountains in the lake. This is really impressive. And I'm going to switch the camera to panorama. And this is the most impressive lake of them all. And we have a break over there where we have our lunch and a nap. And I love having a nap. I'm going to zoom in, and that's somewhere where we're going to have the lunch break. This is the area where we're going to have lunch and the nap. And this is the last of the 4 lakes, Lac Vert, the Green Lake. And this is another change of landscape. This is the access to the mountain top to Gazon du Feng. This is a rock which I've shown you down at Lac de Forlet, and it's called Felsen. It's got a German name. And now here we're entering the magic forest. And now we're entering the most amazing part, the rock formations around Lac Blanc. And this looks like directly taken from the Lord of the Rings movie. The Gates of Mordor. Now we're almost back at the spot where we started this morning. Almost there, almost there. This is where we started this morning. And we're almost finished. And there's a lot of people here. Bonjour.
Monsieur, j'ai rien fait, je vous promets. J'ai rien à déclarer. Par contre, comment vous avez fait?
It's done, 16 kilometers, and now it's dinner time and pizza. And thanks for joining, and maybe see you next year in mid-July for the Four Lakes retreat and the Sentier Roches, and some serious work on our limiting beliefs, unconscious patterns, and survival and coping mechanisms. Take care, bye-bye.